Well, hello there, guys and gals. We are narrowing down stuff on the Mustang. We decided to go ahead and throw some primer there. We did have to end up trimming our fender right there, and the good thing is it matches perfect with our fender flare, because these absolutely hit bigger than, yeah. So anyway, we got that done. We decided we was going to weld in our rear bumper brackets, and you know, you can't see them. Dang it, where's my light? One of these days, I'm just telling you, we did reuse those, and yes, they are cheap, but in this instance, I was cheaper. It happens. Anyway, so we decided to weld those guys back in. Yep. Took care of that. And, oh, we got a belt. The last episode, or one of the close to the last episodes I did, I measured the belt and I believe it was 61 3/4, right? I think. Well, we got one, and we come up with our own kind of design here. Hopefully this works good. I think that it will. Wraps around the crank, pulley. We have a tensioner, and the good thing is this is all stock stuff. This cost me nothing but the belt, and that's it. 26 bucks I think it was for this belt. 28, whatever it was. It's even a Gates. This one ended up being 61 3/4. The upper strut, coil strut, this thing, we cleaned it all up. We did go with a Brillo pad. The aluminum foil works-ish, but you know, just shoot, I end up taking a wire wheel to it and stuff. I end up putting the shocks on along with those. So the front suspension, of course, before we call it done, we're going to go back through it and make sure everything is tight. Actually, we're going to do that like on everything before we even take it out on test drive, because this whole car has changed. We've changed everything from the front to the rear, everything. So tonight we are doing, let's see, is that everything I've caught up on? I'm trying to think, because there's been a lot. We did order carpet off the Amazonian site, so we got red. Yeah, we decided to go with red because we ended up getting with our friend Brett, and our dash is actually going to be red because the parts car that we're using, thank you Brett, it's a red dash, so that's what we're going to use. Like I say, I just sprayed this stuff. That's that weld through primer. It's really not, it's just really to stop any kind of surface rust, really. It'll pretty much wipe off, but you know, I just wanted to like kind of preserve on that a little bit. We did the deck lid too, the spoiler that we made. Now, back to what we're doing tonight. I know that was a long way around, and I'm sorry, but it had to happen. So, you know, we're making scoops for this. And this is what we originally had. We had this guy. And it didn't look bad-ish, but I didn't like the way it set closer back there. I didn't like the way it was working out. So we just modified it. Now we have that. And that is almost identical to the factory one. And this cost me like no dollars really, because we already have, like I say, we already have the steel. We have a bending machine right there. Thank you, mother-in-law. And here's the more gooder part. This stuff here, see how that's open? These are not going to be functional. I'm not cutting into it. Why? Because I'm not. It's got 4-wheel disc brakes, it's fine. We are going to use this Cadillac grill that we bought 4, 5, 6 years ago at a bid site. And I honestly wanted it just for this mesh. So what we're going to do is cut us out a piece of mesh. It's going to fit in there, weld it in there, Done. And we're gonna have this chrome look. I mean, I think I paid like, seriously, less than $1 for this. And I have the other piece too. So, hashtag winning all around. So we're gonna weld that piece into that. Boom, put it on there. I think that wins. But I'll show you how I got my pattern. What I did was, let me clip you to my hat here. I figured out, okay. I took this real sturdy piece of paper and I put it in there like that and I just drew it. And actually it was from this stuff here. You know, I wanted something that I could feel the contour of it. And I just took my permanent marker and just drew it. And now I can make the same pattern exactly twice. All I gotta do is, whoosh. Now I took the death wheel, cut it like so, and again, I had to trim this back up, run from that corner to there, sloped it, and bada boom, bada bang, to bang. DUN done. So I am just going to do exactly as I did. Line it all up, and then I end up with 2 identical scoops, which just makes me happier and pig and poopy. And I absolutely cut it right over here with this way too large, but I mean, it worked. It worked great, actually. Wheel of death, and put it in the vise. You know, safety first, or whenever it's handy. No, excuse me. But nonetheless, I'll show you. Oh yeah, never mind, this is laying over that. I was like, how in the world? So we're just going to draw this, and then we're not going to even bother trying to replicate this angle, just because this is laying on top of that and it's going to be off anyway. Where in the world? How do I, it just, there it goes. Okay. So, we just are going to go like so. Just like that. And boom, we got ourselves another perfect pattern. And I'm pretty happy about that, honestly, because I didn't know how I was going to do it. So I ended up taking this guy and laying it just like that. So if you don't think that your pattern's right, double check it. I mean, you're not going to hurt anything at all like that by double checking it. And that lines up excellent. And the good thing about this stuff is, I mean, it don't take a long time. That's the way I had it. Perfect. So total discrepancy here. Not that it happened to me, but it could happen to you. So I'm looking out for you. If you do draw the pattern on your other side, make sure you don't copy the exact same one. You got to remember it's on the opposite side. So I had to bend a whole new piece of metal, and we had to do that. So if you're going to reuse this and make it an exact copy, simply flip the darn thing over on this piece of metal. See how our bends are down this way? You got to make sure your bends are up this way. Then you line it up, and then you draw your pattern. Again, not that that happened to me, but if it did, or if anybody wants one of these for your driver's side, I mean, you know, I've got one, is what I'm trying to say. and it can be yours. So just saying, you know. Anyway, so we're gonna cut that again and weld it again, and magic is gonna happen. So we're just gonna cut it again, but you know, sheet metal, so it's okay. Just know that you're gonna make mistakes, and as long as you're making mistakes, you're probably doing something. Go off your second line. First line, second, you know, just, or if you drew the pattern, flip the pattern upside down and then draw it. You know, these are the things that happens when you work like 12-hour days, 14, however many hours I've worked a day, and then you come home because you haven't had enough and fabrication. Anyway, so we're going to cut that again, and then we're going to weld, and then it's going to be a wrap. But I just want to show you guys that. There's no sense in watching two of them, but I just want to show you guys what she turned out. I mean, that I can live with, absolutely. I'm not really worried about the vent right now. As far as that stuff, we can cut that out later. Put it in there, that's not a big deal. But that right there works for me. Does that work for you guys? I think it is, it's pretty sweet. I mean, it do what it's got to do. And I got to tell you, I'm pretty happy about that. One, the cost was definitely budget, and time is just what took longest. I had to slope this angle down here. This is going to be wider up top. It's going to be more narrow on the bottom to kind of replicate the exact type. If you see that, see, that's the bottom, and that guy's the top. Okay. You obviously have a shorter little run there, longer run there. So just keep that in mind too. You'll know whenever you go to try to weld it and you look like down in here-ish and you see daylight and you go, that won't work. So you may have to feather it with your wheel and grinder, and you may have to cut some more. Either way, that right there, guys and gals, is a short, sweet, simple way to make your own Cobra scoops. So hopefully you liked it. You need a bender, and or you can probably do it with a hammer and a bench too. And some metal tools, very simple metal tools. Cut off wheel and you can do it. I'm lucky enough I got my Harbinese Freight metal shears. You can do this out of scrap metal. You can take an old hood, cut it out. You don't need brand new sheet metal. You don't have to have it. I've built stuff without brand new sheet metal. It's not a big deal. So, you know, you can refurbish some of this stuff. Cut stuff out of doors. This is a flat panel for the most part. You can reuse that. Or if it has a little curve, who cares? It gives it some more character. Just use the same panel if you can. That way, so they both have the same curves. Does that make sense? So I just want to thank you guys for watching, subscribing, and hitting the old like button. I appreciate it. And if you don't mind, you know, just a little, you know, hit the old subscribe, like, and I'd appreciate the heck out of it. This one's starting to narrow down, so we're trying to wrap up some good stuff to it. We're going to be doing a headliner real soon, both windshields, and hopefully interior, the drive line, get it running. But, you know, in all due time. So we're going to try to speed it up and see what we can't do. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time here on Right Turn Garage TV. Y'all have a great one.